Chris Watts, the Colorado dad who murdered his pregnant wife and their 2 young daughters in 2018, blames his mistress Nicole Kessinger for the horrific crime.
Chris Watts murders Nicole Kessinger's role.
Chris Watts killed his wife, Shanann, murdered their children. He had a mistress at the time, Nicole Kessinger.
Welcome back, everybody. 5,000 subscribers. We did it. Thank you to all of you, every single one of you that has watched my videos. I really thank you. Thank you so much. When I started this thing, I only thought that I'd get about 1,000 people. I only ever thought that 1,000 maybe would listen. My goal was to get 100 and then 1,000, and here we are. We're now on 5,000, so I'm very appreciative of all of you. So today, Nicole Kessinger, part 5. I thought we could have got this done by now, but because of the storage on my computer, we're gonna have to do it in another 2, maybe 3 parts. But they're easier to watch when they're broken down in 40-minute parts, I think, anyway. So thank you for all your lovely emails and your comments. We're now on the road to 10,000, but let's stay positive. You never know. Crazy how 10,000 people would want to listen to me waffle on, but there we are. So I thought today's video would have been about the saucy messages that Nicole was sending, but because I've had to split the videos up, they're not, so sorry, Dave. I did put a post up in the community post, happy 4th of July to everybody that celebrates it. She's got a bit of a foggy memory today. It's a bit ironic she has a foggy memory when it's the specific days around the time of the tragedy. Funny that. She advised Chris that when Shanann came home from being missing, that she should have recorded him, just in case things turned nasty, but I don't think that's the case. I think she wanted to be nosy and find out what was said between them when she returned home. In this one, she slips up numerous times because I recall her saying that found out from the media about Shanann being pregnant, and she also found out from the media about her financials, but yet she slips up so many times here. Once he lied to me and told me that the kid was his, meaning the unborn son. Once he'd done that, that's when she felt in danger. So all of a sudden, she just felt in danger because he lied to her. So his stories don't match up. She just slips up so many times for herself. The Tuesday, she'd sort of palmed him off because her buddy Jim was around. And she seems the type of person to me to drop someone when someone else is around. So I think she was putting all her energy into Jim. She didn't seem to give a toss then when Chris's family were missing and the kids were missing. She was off gallivanting with Jim. So it shows you how much she cared. She said she didn't bother to ring Chris or anything. She just texted him. Now, this is a guy that she's been seeing, sleeping with. His family's missing and she doesn't even bother to ring him up because her other mate Jim's around, see? She met Jim and dropped Chris on a whim. Okay, I apologise. That was terrible. Chris had already murdered Shanann and the kids, and they were talking about the wedding ring. That's what set Nicole off, was talking about the wedding ring. She made out that she was worried about the family and that they were in danger then, but what set her off was the wedding ring, if you listen carefully. When Chris started talking about the wedding ring, that's when she blew her top. Fancy talking about getting a wedding ring, pawning a wedding ring. I mean, did this guy think he was actually going to get away with this? He's talking about pawning wedding rings, seeing how much he can get for it. He's not going to need any cash where he's going. Trade tins of tuna and some noodles. That's the only currency he's going to need. I think she's only out for herself. I mean, that's only my opinion, but she said she couldn't sleep all night because she was scared for the family. The family hadn't come home, so she couldn't sleep a wink, and she was wondering how Chris could sleep because she couldn't. And then later on in the interview, she admits that she couldn't sleep because he'd been talking about the wedding ring. Do you know what I mean? So it shows her the type of person she is. 2 little children are missing. Take Shanann out of the picture. 2 little children are missing, and all she's worried about is a wedding ring. Look, I'm not going to be on her case because I don't know the girl, but I don't think she's telling the truth. It makes no odds to me, but it just shows you the type of the person. Okay, that's enough from me.
That's what I thought, because he said that they'd had a disagreement, and I was just like, okay, well, I mean, I leave my cell phone at home.
When he said disagreement, what did he tell you what it was about, or?
Not at that point. Not at that point. So, again, like, you guys are going to have to check these texts, because it's all, like, my brain feels like a mashed potato right now. But I remember him saying that, and I'm just thinking, like, well, maybe she was in a rush, you know? Like, maybe she was just like, I'm going to my friends. I'm leaving my cell phone here because I don't want you calling me. I don't want anyone else calling me. I mean, there are days where, like, when I'm outside of work, I will just shut my phone off. I just do it, and it's, like, my way of getting peace. So to me, that, I mean, like, it was weird that it wasn't even that weird to me that she left her phone just because I leave my phone, but it was weird to me that she left her purse. But knowing the fact that that girl was, like, always on her phone, then yeah, I guess it is kind of odd.
Like, she lived on her phone, I think,
yeah.
pretty much, is my understanding of her and a phone. So, I don't know if you knew that
I did.
until prior to the media stuff or just from Chris.
I did.
So, did that strike you as odd? But you're thinking maybe she just left.
I just thought she needed to, like, get away from the situation. I mean, that didn't seem that awkward to me that a couple that is going through separation would be like, I need to leave. I just need some space. Like, it didn't even, like, process. I was like, okay, like, give her some space, you know? And on that note, too, when he was in, we're going to jump back for just a second.
It's okay.
I had a thought. So when he was coming back from North Carolina, that was when he officially told me we're going to get a divorce and we're going to put the house up for sale. Like, he told me they were separating and they were, like, going to put the house up for sale, but they hadn't done it yet. And then when he got back from North Carolina, that was when he was like, it was like a sealed deal.
Okay.
And the reason that is of significance is because at some point over the weekend, I don't remember when, he told me that they were putting the house up. I don't know if it was they were putting it up on Monday, like the day they went missing, or if it was that they were calling the realtor to verify some stuff so they could put it up that week. Like, I don't quite remember. I just remember, like, the house was supposed to be, like, on the market, like, that week.
Did he name a realtor ever?
Yeah, he did, and I don't remember her name. It was a female.
Okay.
And I don't remember her name, like,
That's
at all. I was trying to think of that for you guys not too long
Is that the
ago.
company? You got the company name?
No, he never gave me that. He, like, gave me her name, and it was the same name twice. He gave it to me once when he was in North Carolina, and then once the other time. Because I remember asking, I was like, who's that? Because he's like, I'm going to have her call so-and-so today and make sure everything's still good to go. And I was like, who's that? He's like, the realtor. It's like, oh. Or not today, but, like,
If it ever comes to your
Monday.
mind, just
Yeah, I
Give me a
doubt
voice
it. That
number
was
to
such
call.
a.
Yeah.
I will try. I don't
lots of
remember
names.
what it was.
It's fine. It's not that critical. That person may come forward to us anyways, perhaps. So don't worry about it. Let's go back to the phone calls on Monday afternoon.
Yeah. So he's like texting me a lot of this information, and I'm starting to kind of freak out. And it's not like I'm freaked out like, oh, she got murdered. I mean, that is not what I thought. It's like, okay, like the way I looked at this, like, apparently his wife had been gone since midday, is when she got, like, reported missing. I didn't know that. Like, the way I looked at this, it was, I got home from work just now. I mean, he didn't say that, but I interpreted, I just got home from work. And my family is not here. So when we're texting for like a few hours, like the cop thing was kind of weird, but he's like, Nikki insisted they call the cops. Nikki insisted they call the cops. And I'm like, okay, and I'm just trying to figure out, well, like, what role does this woman play in this situation? Like, is she...
Did you know who she was?
No, I don't know any of his people. Like, this has been pretty, like, tight wrap for a while, which is probably a really good thing. But anyways, I didn't know, like, who she was. And so, like, I started asking him. I was like, well, where do you think your wife is at? And he's like, I think she'll be back tonight. Like, I think she's, like, out with somebody. And he was telling me that they had a disagreement. So I was like, well, I remember telling him, I was like, you should make sure that you have wait a minute. No. So all that happened, and then it starts getting kind of laid out. And I remember we talked for text for a while, and part of this conversation, and then it moved to the phone. And I remember telling him, because he was like, I think she'll just be back tomorrow. I think she's just going to be gone for the night, like, with a friend, And
Did
like,
he name the friend?
No, he didn't. And like, because I don't think, he made it sound like he didn't know, like, what friend's house she would be at. And I remember talking to him, and I was like, well, maybe it's that Nikki girl. And he's like, well, Nikki called the cops, so why would she be at Nikki's house? I'm like, I don't know, kind of throws her off the trail of where she's at, And it's like, it sounds kind of weird, but it's like, he really made this sound like this woman was just, like, upset, left the house, And that was probably what he thought happened to her. And so I didn't really put too much, like...
Did he tell you the kids were missing as well
Yes,
with her?
I knew.
Okay.
I mean, which made sense to me, because I was like, well, if you were at work all day... I mean, he didn't tell me he got home early. He didn't say that to me. So, I mean, it made sense. Like, if she's going to leave, they should probably go with her. And so... I don't know. I feel like I wish I should have, like, processed all of this earlier, but I just don't feel like when one of my friends is gone, I'm like, oh my God, they got murdered. We should address this. Like, I haven't heard from them
It's not
in 4
a typical
hours.
thought when somebody just checks out for a
No.
day.
No. So it got late at night, and, like, I remember telling him, I was like, he's like, I think she'll be back tomorrow. And he was going to go into work, and I told him not to. I was like, you need to stay home, and you need to help the cops. I'm like... and you need to wait for her to come back. And he's like telling me like, well, what if like she comes back and she sees my truck? And I was like, you know what I would do? I was like, I would ask one of your good friends who's off of work tomorrow to come over this house and hang out with you while you're here. I was like, and go park your truck down the street. I was like, so she's upset at you and she wants to come back. I was like, but she doesn't want to be here if you're here maybe. I was like, if she comes back, I was like, and she doesn't see your truck, maybe she'd be more willing to come in the house. I'm like, you know, I'm like, but don't be alone with her. I was like, because if she's upset enough to leave, I was like, you don't know what kind of confrontation you're going to have when you get back in the house. And I was like, so that's why you should have a friend there so that you're not alone with her. And I was like, and if for some reason you are alone with her, I told him, I was like, I really thought she just left. I did. I was like, get your phone, put it on video, and put it in your pocket. And I was like, and just zip it up. And he's like, why? And I told him, I was like, because you can voice record. I was like, so if she comes home, I was like, and you two are still like, you know, if there's some choice words being said, because you guys obviously got into like something this, you know, early
Did he
in the
ever
morning.
articulate what their argument was
He did,
about?
and I will get there. But, you know, I told him, like, just be prepared. You know, because at this point, like, it wasn't like I was, like, trying to make her to be a bad person. It was just, like, I didn't know what was going on. I assumed that she had left. So I was like, well, when you get back, because I knew that they were going through a divorce, it was like, just cover your bases, you know, try not to be alone. And if you are, just record what you guys are talking about. So, like, at the end of the day, like, nothing bad happens to you, you know? And, like, that was kind of how I processed that whole situation. And so, he was like, all right. And then, she didn't come home that night. That was Monday night, right? Yes.
We're talking about Monday.
Monday night, yes. And he told me, this is what he told me they talked about, and I realized that this is like total bullshit, and I think he's telling you guys a different story, and I think the reason that he's telling me what he's telling, I think the story he's telling you is probably slightly more accurate than the one he told me on this case, and the reason is because I think he was trying to save his ass with the fact that she's pregnant. So he told me that she had asked him to wake her up before he left for work on Monday morning. And so I don't know if she did that on a text or how it was supposedly communicated. But he said that he went to get her up, which I also found weird because, like, she's still sleeping when he leaves because she gets up with the kids and they get up shortly after that, but, like, it's just him in the mornings, you know. And so he said that she woke up and those two kind of just, like, got in a disagreement. And I don't know what all was said, but he was like, she was being pretty mean. And then he said, she told me that she's pregnant. And she told me that the kid is not mine. That is what he told me.
So she's pregnant, the kid's not mine.
And that she's...
Like he's playing it. He didn't know she was pregnant
Yep.
until that morning.
Yep.
And that she had an affair with somebody else.
Yes, and this is before I knew she was 15 weeks pregnant.
Okay.
Like, all the stuff on Monday that I read from my recollection... Because I didn't find out she was pregnant until Tuesday. So anything that got posted on Monday did not emphasize the fact that she, like, had a baby on board. So then...
Let me ask you something. You said that he usually gets up in the morning and just, it's him and she gets up and takes care of the kids. Is that the routine that you know for them? Or do you know him to get up and like prepare meals prior to him leaving the home?
Well, he gets up and he like goes to the gym and he works out in his basement and
okay.
like makes breakfast, and I don't know.
Does he
his
make
whole-
breakfast for himself or does he make breakfast for his children?
I don't know. I don't know. They're still sleeping at that point. Like, all I know is he, at one point in sometime in this whole thing, he told me that they usually get up at like 6:30, and she gets him ready and takes him to school and like does all the morning stuff with them, as far as I know. And then in the afternoons when he gets home from work, he kind of does more of the afternoon stuff.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a tag team operation that they have going on, but I think she does more in the AM and he does more in the PM.
Right.
It's kind of how I process that, but I don't know.
Okay. So she's mean to him and then throws this out.
Yes.
That she's pregnant from another man.
And I said, do you believe her? And he was just like, he said something about like, oh yeah, like she kind of looked like she was showing when we were in North Carolina, but I wasn't sure. And I'm like, so you think she's pregnant? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, do you think she's like having an affair? And he's like, I think she said that out of spite. And he's like, and I was like, okay. And then, and again, like, I think he's just saying all this to me to try to cover his tracks with me. Like, I don't know what he told you guys, but I bet it's probably very different. And I think that what he said to me, it was like directed towards me. Like, this whole bullshit little box lie that he had right there was like the lie directed.
Did he say when the
at me.
argument started?
No. He just said it was in the morning. He said he woke her up in the morning.
Okay. Did he say when she came home? Did he ever let you know that?
I think I want to say he said around like 2, but I don't know.
Okay. And then he woke her for what purpose?
Because she asked him to.
Okay.
So I was under the impression that he was asleep. I'm assuming this is how it like went, and what he was trying to tell me is that he was asleep by the time she got home, and she sent him a text and said, wake me up before you leave. And then he woke her up, and they got in an argument, and then he went to work.
Okay.
That's how I processed
And the
it.
context of that argument again was just she's pregnant. And is there anything else that he shared with you?
He did not elaborate on it, and I didn't ask.
What were you thinking at that time?
This was like on Monday. Again, at that point, I was like, I still thought she left. I mean, this was all on Monday. Like, I legitimately thought this woman left the premises with her kids and just wanted nothing to do with him for like 24 hours.
So his story was believable that she was pregnant from another man and maybe she took off for that guy, or...
He said several times, like, I think she just said that out of spite.
Okay.
Like, he thought she was with one of her friends.
So he held true to that story.
Pretty much.
She's just leaving and she's with a friend.
That was kind of what he thought. And that's kind of what he had me believing. And at the time, I wasn't really alarmed because it had been like a half a day.
Sure.
And so then Tuesday rolled around, and...
Did you see him at all on Monday? You said you didn't,
No.
right? Earlier.
I did not see him. And I went to work Monday.
Did he ever
Tuesday.
try to convince you to come see him or say he wanted to come to your house?
No, not at all. We were supposed to go pick out apartments to go look at on Wednesday, so yesterday. But that obviously...
Right.
didn't
So
happen.
on Monday he never tried to be convincing to get you to come up to see him?
No.
Nothing?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't think so, because I had my buddy Jim was over Monday and Tuesday, and he knew Jim was over Monday and Tuesday, and that's why we were going to hang out on Wednesday.
Okay.
So no, he didn't ask me. So Tuesday rolled around, and she still wasn't around, and this is when I started getting kind of sick. Like, my friend Jim was sick on Monday when he came up, and I don't know. I just started feeling like crap as it was, and then I was just kind of having a hard time focusing and like thinking about what was going on. And I'd asked him a few times, I'm like, where's your family, Chris? Like, where's your family? You know, and he would tell me like, oh, I don't know, or I want them home. Like, I asked like several times. So I think I got different responses, but each time like he didn't know where they were. You know, and I'm like, she's still not home. And he's like, no. And I had also asked him to like, he said he had a friend, Dave, that was a cop, which I also find convenient that there's another Dave working this case who's a cop. But I was like, well, Dave's off. Why don't you just have him like post up outside your house too and see if she shows up? You know, and he told me on Tuesday morning, he was like, I called Dave and asked him to sit outside my house and he's going to do it. And he's like, and then my friend Nick is coming over later on this afternoon. And I was like, okay.
Did you ever hear Nick's name before?
I've actually heard that name a few times, like around him. Like there's certain, I never heard Dave before. Dave was new, but I've heard the name Nick a lot. So I don't know if that's like real or what, but if I was to guess like friends that he like legitimately has, I would assume that he was one of them. But yeah, because I know he's told me before, like when we first started hanging out, that Nick lived kind of in the area, and he's like he actually goes, he's a trail runner, and he's like he runs at East Lake number 3.
So he lives in your area?
Kind of.
Okay.
And I remember him saying that to me once. He's like, you know that park that we like hung out at? I was like, yeah. He's like, my buddy runs over there. We should not go to that park anymore. And I was like, okay. That's cool. And anyways,
Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning.
We're almost done.
I know. I'm trying to just keep it all together here for you guys. Tuesday morning. Oh, so he said Dave was going to stay outside of his house, and Nick was going to come over that afternoon. I was like, all right. And then I think most of the texting throughout that day was kind of like, have you heard anything? Like, what's going on? It was kind of like me checking up on him. And I don't remember everything, but it wasn't, I didn't even make it through the entire workday. Like, I was feeling really, really sick, like, in general. And then I decided on my lunch break to get on the internet and look at what was going on with all the reports. And I saw a report that was like this woman who's 15 weeks pregnant and her 2 daughters are missing. And I was like, whoa, what? And I was just like so floored, and I read a couple other articles just to make sure that, you know, all the newspapers are, and like just double check, like, am I really reading this right? And I'm like, okay. And he had told me previously, like, she says she's pregnant with another man's kid, but he'd said like he could kind of tell in North Carolina, but that girl is like obviously pregnant. I mean, in her photos. I mean, 15 weeks, that's like 4 months. That's pretty far along. And so it's like, how would you not know if she's showing? Like, you totally know she's showing. And so, oh my God, I got so sick. I was just like, I need to go. I just like packed my stuff and I left work and I went home, and I remember I told Jim that I was going to get home early, and he wanted to come over right away, and I was just like, I just needed some time to like process what was going on. But I did tell him, I was like, you can come over earlier than you did yesterday, because he didn't want to wait in traffic. That was the thing. He's like, save me some time. So I don't remember what time he got there. I probably still have that text because I don't have any reason to delete those. But he came over a little early, but I did have like a gap of time in there. I don't know how long it was. I bet it was like from the time I got home to the time Jim got there, but it was probably like, I don't know, hour and a half, maybe somewhere around there. I remember talking to Chris during this time, and it was like all text. I did not talk to him on the phone at all on Tuesday. And I was pretty upset, where I was just like, you know, I was going back and forth, like, where's your family, this and this and this, but I'm like, she's pregnant, you know, and this and this, and he's like, the baby's not mine, and I'm just like, you told me yesterday that you think that when she said that she cheated on you, she did it out of spite. And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, so then it's your kid. And he kept denying it. And then, like, he started, like, kind of worrying about us. He'd just be like, well, does this ruin everything with us, this and this and this? And I'm like, no. I'm like, just trying to, like, his situation is so much more important right now than, like, our situation.
But his main concern is you and him.
Kind of, sort of. I mean, and I keep, like, asking him, like, I'm like, and I told him numerous times, which is also in the text that you guys will pull, where I'm just like, you need to focus on finding your kids and your wife right now. And I was like, and you need to focus on finding all 3 of your kids. And I, like, kept, like, emphasizing to him, like, he had 3 kids, you know? And, like, I wasn't even, like, mad about it. I was just like, you need to find your family.
Did he ever go look for them that you know of?
I don't know. I don't think so. That, like, doesn't even, like, ring a bell to me, so I don't think so.
Okay.
But Oh, and I forgot something else that's really important. I'll add it in there too, but let me just finish this thought. So then, Tuesday, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah. So I kept telling him, I was like, Chris, I know it's yours. It's okay. I was like, go find your family, you know? And it's like, was I hurt? Yes. But at the time I realized like his situation with what he had going on was like way more important than like our situation. And so that's why I was just like I confronted him about it. And then I was like, you need to go find them. And like we talked about it for a little while. And then I was just like, I don't remember exactly how it went, but something along the lines where I was like, why can't you just be honest with me? I was like, stop lying to me. Like, stop lying.
Did you have an inclination? You've talked to this man a lot. And during this Tuesday, Wednesday conversation, did you feel like he was bullshitting you?
A little bit, kind of, yeah. I mean, because he was like, not Monday. Monday I did not. But Tuesday, yeah, that's when it all started to click. I was like, oh my goodness, because he was like, well, like, he just didn't seem as like concerned as he should be, and he was like super worried about shit with us, and I'm just like,
so concerned about his family and overly concerned about your relationship.
yes.
Okay.
And I kept like trying to put it on the back burner, and shame on me for bringing it up in the first place. I was just really taken back, like, wait a minute, she's 15 weeks, like, how would you not notice that? Like, I was just like, I was confused, and I was also like, is he lying to me? And I kind of wanted to know, because I realized that like there's a situation at hand here, and I'm just like, what is going on? You know, and for part of it, it wasn't even like me trying to find out because I'm upset. It was almost like me trying to find out because I'm like, is there something else I'm missing here? Like, I felt like there was like pieces to this puzzle that I didn't know existed that were like not in place, and it was strange. And so, anyways, I told him, I was like, be honest with me. I was like, don't lie. And I don't remember exactly how it went, but I was like trying to emphasize, like, stop bullshitting me. So he told me the truth. And he told me it was his, and then he knew about it.
Okay.
I was like, okay. And he asked me again, like, did that ruin everything? And I was like, no, it didn't. And in the back of my head, it's like, yeah, I'm done. I'm not dealing with that. Don't lie to me. But his situation is so critical right now that's like, I'm not going to like ruffle his mental feathers, because they're already like really ruffled because of the situation. So like, out of respect for his mental health, I just like dropped it. And I just kept telling him, like, we're okay, we're okay, we're okay. But
How many times do you think he asked you during these phone calls?
Oh, it wasn't phone call. This was text.
Pardon me.
Text Tuesday.
Text Tuesday. How many times do you think he brought up your relationship and if you guys were okay?
Probably like 2 or 3 times.
And how many times did he bring up concern for his children or his wife?
I think he brought it up a lot too. I mean, he kept telling me that he was like worried about them.
Okay.
I mean, it happened. It wasn't like he was just like spaced out. I mean, he was definitely showing that too. I was just surprised that he was like also showing it for me, because at that moment, if I had some crazy stuff going on with somebody in my family, I would be putting all my relationship stuff on hold. Like, look, like, baby, I got to deal with this. Someone in my family is missing. When I find them, we will talk. And that would just be it. But that's just me. I mean, that's how I would address the situation. And that's kind of how I've been like gauging how I handled Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, is like, what would I have done?
Sure.
You know, and kind of like, that's why like I didn't contact you guys on Monday, because I probably wouldn't have done that for one of my friends. And not that I'm cold-hearted, it's just like, it's just, that's just not how me and my friends work. So it didn't, you know. So
there's extenuating circumstances that you wouldn't have known that caused her friends to be concerned. Just so you know. There's nothing wrong with you for not going, oh, something's wrong, and calling the police. The people that provided the information to the police initially had way more information about her than you do. So that's why they came forward. So I can see it, I can feel a little reservation that you're like, why didn't I do something? You didn't know enough. I think a normal person on Monday, a reasonable person, is just going, shit, this woman's, whacked out relationship with her husband. She's got 2 kids. Now she's pregnant. She just takes off. So don't blame yourself for not making a phone call to law enforcement or going to the police. You didn't know anything. So I'm just trying to help you get past that. Don't worry about it. Okay. It's not, the people that came to us had way more info than you did regarding what was happening with her life.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Don't beat yourself up over that. Please don't. Okay?
And then, so Tuesday, after that conversation, I told him, I told him to delete his text because I knew he was like going crazy texting me, and I didn't want any of his friends to see him texting me because I don't think they knew about me. It had nothing to do with you guys. It was just like, and you'll see him,
The secrecy of your relationship.
Pretty much. And I just like feel like he was like texting me so much openly, and he had friends there that I was like, I didn't want them to see that. And so I was like trying to get him to slow down. And then I told him too, like, after he lied to me, I was just kind of like, I was done. And I was trying to find a way to like get away from the situation without alarming him or panicking him. So I told him like, everything is all good. I'm still here for you. And I feel bad because like I lied to him, but I like just try to keep him calm. And then I told him like, contact me once they find your family. And then we'll talk.
That was Tuesday?
That was Tuesday.
Okay.
And he sent me a text back saying something along the lines of like, what did he say? Something like, please just think of, and like I kept telling him I was scared. I was really freaking scared. In fact, that's another thing I'm missing. I'm so tired. Monday night, like I called him back in the middle of the night because I could not sleep. I could not sleep at all. And I remember when I called him, he sounded like he was sleeping. And I was like, how the hell can you sleep right now? That's exactly what I said to him. And he was just like, I'm just kind of dozing off and on the couch. And I just remember thinking, like, I haven't shut my eyes yet. And this is not even my family. And so that happened on Monday night. So then I was going somewhere with that had to do with Tuesday. I forgot what it was. I'm so sorry.
Take a breath and relax. We're almost to Wednesday, and then we're out of here.
Yeah. So then, So then once he lied to me, I just really trying to like push him away, and he was like, just don't forget like the person that you knew me to be when you were with me, or something like that, and like.
Was that strange?
It just kind of sounded almost like a farewell, and like I didn't think it was too weird because I was like, I think he realizes that I'm really upset that he lied to me, and I think he's aware of the fact that I'm probably about to walk away from him. So I think that was like his way of like saying goodbye. So it didn't really seem strange in the context of what was going on between like the him and I part of stuff. And then, and I kept asking him too, like, what did you do, Chris? What did you do? And he was like, I didn't do anything. And I'm like, where's your family? And like, I asked him that. I don't know if I started doing that on Tuesday or if I started doing that on Monday, but I think it was Tuesday because I don't really think I was that alarmed on Monday. And then, so that was supposed to be like our final sign-off text. And then Jim got there at my house, and I was hanging out with Jim. But I was still, like, in my head, just kind of, like, stressed out. And I remember I, like, walked out of the room, went in my bedroom, and texted Chris one more time. And I told him, I was like, if you did something bad, I was like, you're going to ruin your life. And I was like, and if you did something bad, I was like, you're going to ruin my life. And I was like, and I promise you that. And he responded back to me, and he's like, I didn't hurt my family, Nikki. And that was like the last text. That was the last time we ever talked. And I never said another word to him after that.
That was Tuesday.
That was Tuesday. And then he left me alone. He gave me the space that I asked him. He respected it. And he didn't like mess with me at all.
Was that a phone call where you said?
No, that's all Tuesday. Text Tuesday.
Text Tuesday.
Call it
all
text
text.
Tuesday.
Okay.
Everything was text. I did not talk to that man on the phone all that day. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it was all text. And then
So at that time in your mind, if you said that, what are you thinking? What were you thinking, that he maybe did something to his family?
yeah, I started getting really scared.
What caused that
The
thought?
fact that he lied to me.
Okay.
And that she still wasn't home, and it was day 2. Like, I figure if you're upset for a day, you leave for a day, but you come back. And she wasn't back. And it was, like, midday. And not only that, but, like, she doesn't have her phone. She doesn't have her car. She doesn't have the kids' EpiPen. She doesn't have any of that. So what I'm thinking in my head is, like, for a night, if you're really upset, somebody comes one of your friends picks you up, like, okay. But I can't explain that for 2 days. Like, that just doesn't, like, logically process in my mind as something that any woman I know would do. The one-night thing, I know women that would do that. But the two-night thing, no. And so I'm like, she's still not back. And he just lied to me. And it made me, like, I just started getting scared. And I remember, like, telling him that throughout the whole day. Like, I don't even know how many times I texted him that. I wouldn't be surprised if it's, like, 8-10 times. Where I'm just like, I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. And one of the last texts that I sent to him, too, I told him, I said, I'm scared because I feel like I don't know who you are anymore. And
his response to that?
I don't even remember, to be honest with you. I think that was, like, in that, like, sign-off text that I sent to him.
Okay.
But, I mean, I was, like, kind of scared. What I was really scared for was scared for his family's well-being because, like, I don't know where these people are at this point, and it's scary. I mean, it's scary that she's gone, but it's even more scary to me that these little girls are gone. Like, that was the part that really freaked me out. Like, if it was just her, I'd be like, well, maybe she took off with somebody, maybe she didn't. I mean, I don't know, because she's a grown woman and she can make those choices.
Was some of the scared, was there fear in you that people were going to find out about your relationship too?
No, I didn't even care about that at that point. I was just, like, scared, like, of the situation. It was, like, getting escalated, and it was freaking me out. And he was just, like, he was strange. So another thing, so that was Tuesday, and that was it for Tuesday, but I forgot some stuff on Monday that I did need to bring up to you guys. So Monday, when we were on the phone at one point, he mentioned to me, I can't even believe I have to say this, she left her wedding ring here. And I said something along the lines of, does that mean you two are done? And he was like, he said, how much do you think it's worth? And I was like, remember hearing him say that and being like, what the fuck? And I remember thinking to myself, like, I don't even know how to respond to this. And so I was like, I don't know, pawn it, man. And I was just like, I pawn jewelry all the time. I was like, I pawn jewelry a few times. I was like, it's not worth shit, though. And I was like, so I don't know if you really want to do that. And he's like, no, I think I'm going to get it appraised. It's a nice rock. And I was just like, okay. And it was, like, really awkward.
And that was on Monday?
That was on Monday night. And that, to me, was like, it was kind of strange. And then the Tuesday lying thing, like, I'm telling you, it started, like, Monday night. Him saying that was why I couldn't sleep, because he made the comment about the wedding ring.
Okay.
And then Tuesday, her still not coming home, and then him lying to me, and I was just like, oh my God, like, what if something happened? And it was, like, really hard for me to
When you say, what if something happened, what were you thinking?
Like, what if somebody took her? Like, could he possibly hurt her? And that was, like, the first time that I really, I think, genuinely considered, did this man hurt his wife? And it was, like, hard for me to grasp. And I thought about it a lot, and I waited for the night because I wanted to see if she would come home. And it was already pretty late, and I had company, and I was just like, let me just see how this plays out. And my buddy Jim left. I don't know, probably like 9 or 10. Probably it's like the same time he always leaves. And then I couldn't sleep again. It was really bad. And I woke up in the morning and I saw the interview that he had with the newspapers. And he just looked really different to me.
How so?
The light in his eyes is gone. They're like a different color now. It's like he has no soul. I swear to God. I saw it and I was just like, look at his eyes. I saw his mugshot. They're not even the same color. Like, when you guys retrieve the pictures that are on my phone, look at his eyes then compared to now. Like, it's the scariest shit I think I've ever seen in my life. It freaked me out. I was like, that's not even the same man that I know. And it was really uncomfortable. But anyways, I saw that report in the morning and I was just to the point where I was just like, all right, like, something happened. This woman is missing.
That's today's video. I hope you enjoyed that one. I'm off to work on the last two parts. Members, thank you very much. Quick mentions. Claire, Adventures Underwater, Desi, Lois, Nancy, Daniel Wiley, Mary, Spooky Girl, Laurie, Katie, 2 Carols, Davy Mays, J-Lo, Carolette, Anna, Sam, T-Rex. Rawr. That's it. Good night. You thought I forgot, didn't you? Remember, don't have nightmares. That's a wrap. Wednesday, Tuesday. Okay. Afterwards. So when Chris said so that the Nicole's went take 8. Take 10. That's it. That's a wrap.